Hey guys, we've had a massive leak come out of Nvidia's circle, so we're gonna get right into it. This is pretty hot news, I suppose, and I suppose a lot of benchmarks and unboxing are gonna be happening in the next couple of days, but let's look at what we have right now. So there has been a leak of basically a presentation or a slideshow of benchmarks for games, and obviously a little bit of information on the system that it was done on and a little bit of background of where it's all coming from. Now, take this with a fairly large grain of salt because we don't know, we can't really verify if this is real, but it's as close as it's gonna get. It's basically a reviewer's guide that has been leaked. So basically expect this as pretty much what's gonna be. There'll be some differences in different setups, but this is what you're gonna get if you have the following. A X299 Rampage, Core i9, 7900X, I think that's probably the 12 core, 3.3 gigahertz, a Corsair 16 gigabyte RAM DDR4, not even 32, and it doesn't really specify the frequency, and obviously Windows 10 and the Nvidia 411.38 drivers. Now this is important because these actual benchmarks could change with a future update to the Nvidia drivers, so keep that in mind. So let's get into the first one. We've got Battlefield 1. It's an older title, so we expect a lot of gains in this one. So the GTX 1080 Ti is what we should probably be comparing it to, because that's probably the best one Nvidia can do right now. And the way I'm looking at it right now, and you can probably see it, 60 frames to 89 on the other Ti, that's about 20 to 30% increase. You're pretty much looking to spend another $1,500 to get 30 or 40%, then obviously the actual 1080 Ti that's available now. So I suppose the price is probably going to pay for itself if you're a hardcore gamer and you want to have those high frames. This is all 4K. There is no 1080p basically benchmarks. There's nothing like this. We're all looking at 4K benchmarks because this graphics card and in this slideshow is being touted as minimum gameplay is 4K at 60 frames. So anything above 60 frames is just a bonus. That's where this touring architecture is gonna be golden. Next one, got F1 2018, and again, another around 35 to 40% increase from the Ti. The GTX 2080 is just a little bit better than the 1080 Ti, and I suppose that's acceptable, but you'd think the next generation would be absolutely fantastic. And I feel that the way that this is shown and the way the difference is here between the Ti and the 2080 is the reason why they released the 2080 Ti so quickly. We've got Call of Duty World War II, and again, it's a huge increase between the Ti 2080 and the 2080. So the jump there is actually substantial. Comparably between the Ti and the 2080, the 1080 Ti and the 2080, it's not that great. HITMAN, again, same story, and actually the GTX 1080 Ti brings it a bit closer to the 2080. So decision is going to be made. Are you going to buy the new RTX 2080 or the 1080 Ti on sale? And so far as a budget one, I kind of think the 1080 Ti is going to go for a better choice for a lot of people. And in fact, one of the things that I'm thinking about right now is if you took away the Ti and made that 2080 a 2070 and the other one a 2080, the Ti, the 1080 Ti it would all kind of make sense. I feel like they couldn't get that performance up, and it's just fit in there kind of oddly there. I don't feel like the Ti is a real Ti because it should be the 2080 and the 2080 should be 2070. But in any case, that's my opinion so far. Mass Effect Andromeda, same story again. We've got big differences, but this game is absolutely terribly and very badly optimized. And as you can see, it drops down to 60 frames for a game that actually the effects aren't particularly great and the game itself wasn't particularly good. Middle-earth, Shadow of War, the greatest, well, the second greatest after the first one, obviously, game of Lord of the Rings Imaginary World, and plays really well, 60 frames. That one is a busy game, a lot of things happening on screen, a lot of CPU power gets involved in that one, so this is expected. Star Wars Battlefront, that game is absolutely terrible, I'm not gonna lie. There is a very clear pattern, and PLAYERUNKNOWN is still at 79 at 4K, which is pretty good, but you'd probably want to turn on all those effects and get more frames because that game is just very odd, very glitchy. Rainbow Six Siege, my favorite game at the moment. Will I switch? Probably not. I've only got a 100Hz monitor, so 103 will do me fine. But again, this is at 4K, so it's a pretty good score. 150, that is basically professional grade at 4K, and you can play the game. So this is absolutely amazing and a good start if you're going to buy a huge 4K monitor. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the greatest and latest new game of the Tomb Raider series. This is quite concerning, 59 frames average for the 2080 Ti. That game must be super duper demanding or just not optimized. And again, the updates for the actual drivers will come soon and hopefully be perfectly okay and raise that bar a little higher. Witcher 3, best game ever. This is the greatest RPG so far. Obviously Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come soon. So again, a pretty good score, 78 on 4K at Ti. 2080 Ti doing really well there, and the 2080 basically being playable. And again, this has pointed out that most games will run at 60 or above at 4K, which is a great thing, even if you get the 2080. So that's a very good sign. And finally, because I'm going to be making a 3D Mark Time Spy video because of my little Pentium computer here that I've got, I've built that recently and I'm going to see if we can game on it. The difference between the current 1080 Ti and the 2080 Ti is big enough to really put a huge score on that leaderboard on that 3D Mark program. Now, in saying this, these results are expected in the sense of an improvement in general of the next card. However, I can see that the 2080 should be a 2070 and the 2080 Ti should be at 2080, and the Ti should come out in the future where it's going to beat both of those cards, because at the moment this is a pretty low upgrade. However, they do bring to the table the RTX, the ray tracing. I'm not going to get into that. Maybe I'll make a video about it, but that has been talked about a lot. Is it valuable for gamers? I don't know. Is it prettier, better graphics, better things in the game? Yes. Is it going to take off like a lot of other things that may not have taken off in the past that Nvidia has brought in? Time will only tell, but remember, the first generation of cards is never going to be the card that you're going to be playing the games with ray tracing to the max, because that following generation is the one that's going to be doing it really well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll post a link below to the actual link. There's really not much in there. There's a bit of information and just those screenshots. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.